No Limit Records is one of the most iconic labels in hip-hop history, leaving its mark on music, culture, and business. Since its founding in the early 1990s, this label not only defined the musical style of Southern hip-hop, but also became an example of how an independent label can compete with industry giants. But although No Limit Records was capable of achieving dizzying success, its fall was just as significant and widely discussed. At the center of it all stood one man, Master P, whose name became synonymous with No Limit success. From humble beginnings in New Orleans to worldwide recognition, his journey was one of both rise and fall. Thanks to Master P, No Limit was able to create a unique style, drawing attention to Southern rap in an era when New York and Los Angeles were the dominant hip-hop cultural centers. But despite his successes, internal label issues and mounting external pressures led to its decline. The story of No Limit Records is an extraordinary tale of ups and downs, conflicts, scandals, and deaths. A story of the American dream coming true. And of course, a story of downfall and decline. Let's talk about all of this in this video. Well, let's get started. In the 1990s, when people were still mostly listening to music on aluminum compact discs, the rap label No Limit Records attracted national attention by filling store shelves with an endless number of releases from rappers whose albums were packed in brightly colored cases, recognizable for their crazy, perspective-breaking designs created by pen and pixel, and musically gifted with explosive, innovative production by Beats by the Pound. After its founder, Master P, signed a major deal with Priority, No Limit became one of the biggest exporters of the Dirty South sound and permanently changed hip-hop's sound, even though its time in the spotlight was brief. Master P, whose real name is Percy Robert Miller, was born on April 29, 1967, in New Orleans. His younger brothers, Corey Miller, under the nickname C-Murder, and Vishon King Miller, under the nickname Silk the Shocker, are also rappers, as is his son Percy Romeo Miller, under the nickname Lil Romeo. Other Miller siblings include Germany and Kevin, the latter of whom was killed in 1990 in a dispute over contraband. The Miller family lived in the B.W. Cooper Apartments, better known as the Calliope Projects, a massive housing complex built in 1941 in the uptown area of New Orleans. In the late 1970s, after their parents' divorce, the Miller children split their time between their grandparents' home in New Orleans and their mother's new home in Richmond, California. As a teenager, Percy became passionate about basketball, attending Booker T. Washington and Warren Easton high schools and earning a sports scholarship to the University of Houston. However, his dreams of a sports career were shattered by a severe knee injury. After the injury, Master P studied business at Oakland Merritt Junior College. His first attempt at music was as a beatmaker in the Bay Area rap group 12 Gauge and the Hit Squad. That same year, Percy and his wife Sonia became parents and named their son Percy Romeo Miller Jr.
D-A-N-C-I-N-G, find out what it means to me.
Using money received from a malpractice lawsuit after his grandfather's death, Master P opened a record store called No Limit Records. As Master P, Miller formed a rap group inspired by NWI called The Real Untouchables, which included his brothers, wife, and friends Big Ed, Daniel Fry, King George, Fonzo, Milkman, and Magic Mark. The first release was a 4-track Mind of a Psychopath, released on February 15, 1990.
Yo, MC Big O's in the house with your God, homeboy. I got the mind of
The second release from the label was Master P's solo album Getaway Clean, nominally a 12-inch EP, but actually more like a single, with the track Richtown 90 on the B-side, once again featuring the Real Untouchables. The early work of the group was produced by K-Lou and recorded at K-Lou Studio, also located in Richmond.
Once the king speak, you suckers better bother
Your
me.
Highness.
Royalties and Jews, I stole your chick.
This was followed by the non-album single Jack of the Jackers. In 1992, releases included The Real Untouchables, Hangin' in the Hood, Christmas in the Ghetto, and Understanding the Criminal Mind, as well as Master P's albums I'm Going Big Time and Mama's Bad Boy, along with One Step Ahead of Y'all.
Yo, it's on, but motherfuckers don't hear me, though. I've been paying fucking dues since
1993 saw the release of the Real Untouchables singles Tell Them What's Going On and Ghetto is a Trap, as well as albums Who's the Killer and singles Straight Business, Trust Nobody, and I'm the Funkiest from Master P, plus releases by Sonia C, Married to the Mob, and Something Kind of Funky EP by rapper Rally Rel. Yes, Master P's ex-wife also rapped. You can check it out.
You like stalking, you like talking, you shop with money in the coffee.
In 1994, Master P released Bastard Child and The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me, along with Dangerous Dame's EP, Escape from the Mental Ward. Other releases included Ride With Me and Deep in Thaw Game by Lil Rick.
I started off with a quarter zip and moved up to a half a zip. My paper coming cool, flip the whole zip quick.
The same year, No Limit released 2 compilations. West Coast Bad Boys, Another Level of the Game, and West Coast Bad Boys, Hypho Xmas, featuring rappers like Big Ed, Brother Mo, Sibo, Coughnut, The Dangler, The Delinquents, Erase E, Max Spoon, Mafiosos, and many others. In 1995, another West Coast-themed release, West Coast Bad Boys, Peace Today Streets, came out before Master P returned to New Orleans.
Trying to survive in the ghetto's kinda hectic. It even gets harder if I'm ever disrespected. My family.
After moving back to New Orleans, No Limit disbanded most of its roster. The label arrived in New Orleans, which was already filled with talent, including rap groups from local labels Big Boy, Cash Money, Take 4, Parkway Pumpin', Tombstone, and Untouchable. Parkway Pumpin', a label that operated without contracts, was home to several rappers who later joined No Limit, including Fiend, Mac, Mystical Mike, who had already achieved regional success as Mystical on Big Boy, and Magnolia Slim, better known as Soulja Slim. As talented as they were, perhaps no one deserves more credit for establishing No Limit's southern sound than Parkway Pumpin' producer KLC. KLC, whose real name is Craig S. Lawson, grew up in Melpomene, officially Gusty Apartments. His father played the saxophone, and Lawson, nicknamed Chief Drummer, followed in his footsteps by playing in the marching band at Green High School. His first collaboration with DJ Treble was on the track Ain't Nothin' Nice in 1988. Together with his friends Shaq and MC Dart, he created the group 39 Posse, which became the first group to release a record on the Parkway Pumpin' label in 1989. Along with Raymond Moby Dick Poole, Craig Bazile, and Odell Vickers Jr., Lawson formed the production team Beats by the Pound, whose first commission for No Limit was the first double rap CD, a compilation titled Down South Hustlers, Bouncin' and Swingin'.
Now here's a real dick ball, your pussy, see hoes ain't really shit unless they love to do.
In 1996, the Los Angeles-based label Priority Records became part of London's electric and musical industries and soon offered Master P a $30 million distribution contract, under which he retained the rights to No Limit's master recordings and recording studio, while Priority provided significantly increased international exposure. International fame didn't come immediately. The first album after the deal, Hoodlum for Life by Skullduggery, didn't gain much attention outside the South. Then The Real Untouchables with their album True to the Game and Mia EX with Unlady, like both received gold certifications in 1997.
Go to war with a soldier, no limit, true niggas. I thought I told.
After Snoop Dogg severed ties with Death Row, he joined No Limit. When Forbes reported Master P's earnings of $56.5 million, making him one of the 10 highest-paid entertainers of the year, it was safe to say that most of their readers had never heard of him, as No Limit was making money entirely without the support of major media outlets such as MTV. No Limit Records' peak period of success was in the mid to late 90s, when the label became a symbol not just of Southern rap, but of hip-hop culture as a whole. No Limit's success was driven by a combination of factors: Master P's entrepreneurial intuition, the label's unique musical style, the right selection of artists, and a hit advertising strategy. During this period, the label released several albums that were not only commercially successful, but also solidified No Limit's reputation as one of the most influential labels in hip-hop history. Here's what Master P himself said about his success in an interview.
Going to college, understanding what business, marketing, communication is. I studied business, marketing, communication in college. And first thing people have to be able to identify your brand. That's what I learned. So I could have named my company anything.
Yeah.
On the street records or whatever. I say, you know what? My company gonna be No Limit because there's gonna be no limit to what I can do. And I'm gonna master the game. So I named my artist name Master P, which my first name is Percy, but I want to master whatever I do.
And if you think about even specifically that period where it seemed like you were putting out a different record on your label once a week.
Yeah, what people don't realize, once you build a fan base, you need to feed that fan base. And that's how I sold 75 million records. I didn't sit back and say, I just want to be a star. Say, no, I want to work. You got to get out here and touch the people. You got to get on the road. To put those type of records out, and that many records, you got to go out and touch the people. You got to get out and do a lot of the marketing for these projects. And a lot of people not willing to do that. They want to live off of their success and just sit back and party and pat themselves on the back. And I say, no, I got a fan base. I want to build that fan base bigger.
Master P became the center of his empire, taking on the role of not just a rapper, but also a producer, owner, marketer, and businessman. His ability to combine creativity with business strategy was a key factor in No Limit's success. From the very beginning, Master P aimed for independence, which allowed him to control the entire process, from recording albums to distribution and marketing. He also created a cult around the label, using bold visual aesthetics and a clearly defined concept that attracted the attention of viewers and buyers. No Limit Records' signature album covers played a crucial role in shaping the label's unique visual style, which became an integral part of its identity and contributed to its success. These bright, colorful covers with aggressive, sometimes absurd imagery, designed by the Pen and Pixel studio, became a recognizable symbol of the label and caught the eye of buyers in stores. The visual aesthetic, often incorporating elements of trash culture and street style, reinforced the image of raw and rebellious hip-hop that No Limit promoted. These covers still influence the industry today. Just think about how some of rapper 21 Savage's album covers look, such as Savage Mode 2. One of the key aspects of No Limit's success was attracting talented artists. Among the most successful and notable figures on the label at that time were Silk the Shocker, Mia EX, C Murder, Mystical, and Mr. Servon, all of whom we mentioned earlier. Each of them brought their unique style and delivery to No Limit's repertoire, making the label diverse and appealing to a wide audience. For example, Silk the Shocker stood out for his ability to switch between hardcore and more commercial tracks, while Mia X remained one of the few female artists on the label, which brought additional social and commercial advantages. No Limit's musical releases at the time, such as The Ice Cream Man and Ghetto D, released in 1997, became major hits. These albums not only sold millions of copies, but also became a part of youth culture, shaping their identity. A key element in these albums' success was the production work of the Beats by the Pound team, which we discussed earlier in the context of KLC's career. The Beats by the Pound team developed No Limit's signature sound, blending hard-hitting beats with memorable melodies and aggressive lyrics. This sound became the foundation of 90s hip-hop and defined the southern rap style, which later had a major influence on the genre's evolution. Marketing and strategic product promotion were no less important factors in No Limit's success. Master P used aggressive advertising campaigns that included not only traditional ads but also mass culture integration. The label actively promoted its image through music, movies, and clothing. No Limit Films, the label's film division, also played a key role in its success, releasing films such as I'm 'Bout It and Dog Game of Life, which not only expanded their audience but also created a culture around the label. Additionally, No Limit's success was linked to the rise of independent rap labels, which were becoming powerful forces in the industry at that time. Master P was one of the most successful examples of how a rapper could not only be an artist, but also a full-fledged businessman. The label's success was also the result of choosing the right partners, such as Priority Records, with whom No Limit signed a profitable distribution deal that ensured international recognition and access to vast markets. By the early 2000s, No Limit had become not only a symbol of success in the music industry, but also a cultural phenomenon. In a short period, the label managed to create several iconic releases, develop its own sales network, produce films, and launch clothing lines. At this moment, Master P and his team had become true icons, setting trends in the hip-hop world and influencing the development of street culture in the US. Some of the most successful albums from that time included Ghetto D, which went platinum, and The Shocker, an album that brought fame not only to Silk the Shocker, but also to the No Limit brand itself.
Bitch, I'm a killer for real, ain't no joke. Slide niggas so fast and slow. I got stuff.
Nevertheless, No Limit's success was not accidental. Behind it stood a clear business strategy, market understanding, and the ability to seize opportunities that other labels either ignored or underestimated. But perhaps the most important factor in the label's success was its commitment to independence and its desire to be at the forefront of the hip-hop industry. The label demonstrated how one could control not only the music but the entire process, from production to marketing, creating a successful empire that set the tone for hip-hop in the 90s. When everyone expected No Limit to solidify its dominance in hip-hop, the label began expanding its horizons in various directions beyond music. Like any successful rapper of that era, No Limit launched its own clothing line, No Limit Gear. They also ventured into the film industry with No Limit Films, releasing movies such as MP de Last Dawn, I Got the Hookup, Foolish, No Tomorrow, Uninvited, Hot Boys, and Lockdown. No Limit even managed a Foot Locker franchise, a gas station, a travel agency, a real estate company, a sports agency, and an adult phone line service. Meanwhile, Master P attempted to get drafted by the Charlotte Hornets and Toronto Raptors, ultimately playing for the Fort Wayne Fury team. He also appeared in a movie outside of No Limit, The Players Club. There were even basketball-themed music videos.
Big things, we have the big bang. Third world hustlers, soldiers, and
But as you can probably guess, no success lasts forever. We'll get to that a bit later. For now, it's worth highlighting once again that No Limit's success was 90% thanks to Master P, who truly is an extraordinary person. He once shared that he initially sold his first records straight from the trunk of his car while traveling across the US. In 1990, after receiving money from a lawsuit settlement, Master P opened a music store in New Orleans. This store sold not only albums but also cassettes featuring his own tracks, which he recorded on small studio equipment. He personally promoted his music by handing out tapes on the streets. Here's another example. In his autobiographical film I'm 'Bout It, he not only starred as an actor, but also served as the producer, and the film was shot in just a few weeks. No major film company was willing to take on the project. Few knew that this film, with a budget of just a few $1,000s, funded entirely by the label's head himself, would later become a cult classic in hip-hop culture. This was one of Master P's first steps into independent filmmaking.
Way back to New Orleans, that murder capital of the world, so fool, watch your back.
Of course, conflicts arose in Master P's career. For example, in 1999, Atlanta rap legend Pastor Troy decided to diss Master P in one of his tracks. The reason? Master P referred to himself as a general and called No Limit an army. Pastor Troy thought these claims were too bold, which led to a diss and a feud. Here's what Master P himself had to say about this beef.
Greg Street called me for the radio and said, blah, 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 want to sit down and talk to you and wave the white flag. I said, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know the man like you. I just say, he said, what could we do about it? I said, just walk on the other side of the street, you see me. I'm not looking for you or nothing. That ain't me.
Why?
I'm a man of God, but just like two mountains may not meet, but two men will. But you got to know what you're doing. And C went to a concert he had.
Oh, I already know what it's about.
And it went bad. I think C probably got the wrong dude. The dude he thought was him. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, but he was on GOAT, and I said, C, it could have got real.
Right.
And all the other dudes around from Hot Boy to whoever, I said, they was like, what's up with this dude? I said, man, that dude a rapper.
Right.
Let him be a rapper. I never beefed on records. I never rapped about nobody.
But you understood what he was doing, right?
Yeah, I understood what he was doing.
Another incident happened in 2013 when, in the track Brick to a Million featuring Fat Trell and Alley Boy, Master P rapped lyrics that many interpreted as a diss aimed at Kanye West and Lil Wayne.
New niggas wearing dresses, fuck it. I ain't scared to address it.
These words sparked intense reactions in the hip-hop community, and rumors of feuds with other rappers spread quickly. However, in a radio interview, Master P denied these rumors, stating that he wasn't targeting any specific rappers but was simply expressing his opinion on modern hip-hop trends, which, in his view, strayed from real street values.
If I ain't never had no beef with you, don't start no beef with me. I ain't the person to be beefing with. I'm just telling you, I don't mess with nobody, I don't disrespect nobody, don't disrespect me, or don't play with me or my kids. I'm good.
In 2007, in response to criticism from 50 Cent about his lyrics, Master P once again voiced his stance on the music industry and different artistic approaches. 50 Cent claimed that artists like Master P stopped using explicit language in their songs because their albums weren't selling. Master P, in turn, emphasized that his goal in music was never just to make money, but to use his platform to change people's lives. He reminded everyone that he financed 50 Cent's first tour in the South when he was still new to the industry, and stressed that music should carry responsibility and help people grow, not just be about making money.
50 Cent talked about, yeah, man, P paid for my shows when I first came out. I believed in this brother, right? I seen what he was. I said, how many shows you want to do? He said, 8 shows. I said, how much you want? I just gave him all the money up front. But the internet come back and say, oh, P finessed him. Where'd that come from? That's a blessing. Nobody else believed you. You from the East Coast. Nobody in the West Coast put up no money for you. Let's be honest. I'm from the South. I gave you everything you asked for.
You gave money before Dre and them gave money.
For anybody.
Exactly.
But look how the internet will change it up. Where you come with finesse, because he say, oh, when P said, we not going, let's wait. We did 4 shows, right?
He said it was wait.
Yeah, but we can't go back and rewrite time. I might have, my old lady probably was having a baby, anything. I'm like, nah, bro, let's come back.
Yeah.
You got your bread, he was happy.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm telling y'all, you can't listen to the internet.
But let's get back to No Limit's history. In 1999, No Limit sold 22 million units of music, but when it came time to split the profits, some artists expressed dissatisfaction with their shares. Most artists outside the Miller family soon left the label. The most devastating blow came when Beats by the Pound left No Limit, changing their name to The Medicine Men, stripping the label of most of its top producers. By 2000, the only ones left on the label were the Millers, Mia X, who hadn't made music in years, Magic, Mac, and Snoop Dogg, still a talented lineup, but clearly this was now the era of Cash Money and their roster, supported by Manny Fresh, Big Timers, Hot Boys, Turk, Juvenile, BG, and Lil Wayne. Speaking of Cash Money, admit it, the story of unpaid royalties sounds a lot like what later happened with Cash Money, the label that eventually introduced the world to Drake and Nicki Minaj. But in the early 2000s, No Limit, by many accounts, lost the competition to Cash Money. One of the main reasons No Limit lost to Cash Money was the shifting musical landscape of the late 90s and early 2000s. No Limit Records achieved massive success in the mid-90s by working hard and consistently releasing albums. However, their style and approach started to feel outdated, especially as audiences began seeking something fresh. While No Limit kept releasing music with a more old-school street sound, Cash Money Records quickly adapted and offered something newer and more mainstream-friendly. The duo of producers Manny Fresh and Birdman created a unique sound blending hip-hop with southern soul elements and rhythmic beats, which attracted a younger and more diverse audience. The second key reason was the departure of many of No Limit's major artists. In the late 90s and early 2000s, important figures such as Beats by the Pound, the label's main producers, left, weakening its creative output. While Cash Money continued to build momentum with a stable lineup of artists, including Lil Wayne, Juvenile, BG, and Turk, No Limit lost many of its stars, reducing its ability to produce high-quality and commercially successful albums. Finally, the third reason for their downfall was financial management and marketing. Cash Money Records was far more effective in strategizing the promotion of their artists and building global recognition. The label expertly leveraged radio play, music videos, and advertising campaigns, solidifying its position in the industry. While No Limit struggled to maintain its level of success and remained largely tied to local markets, Cash Money quickly expanded internationally thanks to smart partnerships with major labels and major contract deals, ensuring long-term success. And here's a comment from Master P.
I actually don't know, but I know, there was a lot of street stuff going on in New Orleans at that time. Why did y'all never come together as a force? Why couldn't that ever happen? What was that about?
To be honest with you, Baby, Lil Wayne, they did their thing. I commend them to it. But, like you say, when you really from the streets, we really from the streets.
Yeah.
I got a brother dead. I got a brother in prison fighting for something that he didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of people that they had with them, it wasn't Cash Money, the main people, but some of the other people, it's like the baggage that you carry with you, it can't connect because we from two different worlds. And and if it was really about that, Sway, we'll be in a world of trouble right now.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It's like I respected them and it was a friendly competition, but I just couldn't get with some of the other people that they had with them. So, but man, I got love for them. I mean, I got love for their movement and I respect it. And it's like anybody that's successful, especially from where I'm from, but all your friends ain't my friends. It's like your friends, some of your friends, I wouldn't mess with them. Some of the radio people you mess with, Sway, I wouldn't mess with them at all.
Yeah, damn it, I don't mess with them either.
You know what I'm saying?
Over the years, No Limit changed distributors several times, but was never able to bring back the magic of its golden era. Many former rappers from the label faced serious legal issues. And in 2001, Cain and Abel were sentenced to 3 years in prison for a drug-related case, pleading guilty to perjury before federal agents regarding the activities of imprisoned drug lord and convicted murderer Richard Pina. Also, in 2001, Mac was charged with the murder of 22-year-old Baron C. Victor Jr. and sentenced to 30 years in prison. In 2003, C. Murder was found guilty of beating and fatally injuring 16-year-old fan Steve Thomas and was sentenced to life in prison. In 2004, Mystical was sentenced to 6 years in prison for assault and was released in 2010. He later returned to music, signing with his old rivals, Cash Money, in 2011. Some former No Limit rappers have passed away. Big Ed died of cancer in 2001. Soulja Slim, at the age of 26, was shot and killed near his mother's house in 2003. Tree 8 died in a car accident in 2011 at the age of 37. Magic also died in 2003, a car accident in 2013 at the age of 37. Most of the buildings in the Calliope projects were demolished after the evacuation during Hurricane Katrina. Some were torn down for redevelopment. A major reason for the decline was financial instability and management issues. Despite their early career successes, when No Limit flooded the market and made money through mass production, the label struggled to maintain its profitable model. Releasing albums by formula with minimal changes led to oversaturation, which in turn reduced interest in new releases. Additionally, high advertising expenses and low returns from album sales started putting pressure on the label, leading to financial problems and decreased profits. Another issue for the label was its inability to maintain its position on the global stage. While No Limit Records started as a strong force in Southern hip-hop, the label failed to effectively expand its audience beyond the US. While Cash Money Records actively worked with international markets and signed deals with major companies, No Limit was unable to bring its artists onto the global stage. This lack of international expansion became a decisive factor that limited the label's opportunities for further growth. Finally, by the late 90s, No Limit began experiencing an identity crisis. While the label took pride in its unique style, its mass production and repetitive themes started to feel outdated. Additionally, internal conflicts and personal issues, both for Master P and other artists, continued to affect the atmosphere within the label. This impacted the quality of the music and album performance, further contributing to its decline. In the end, No Limit failed to adapt to new trends and lost its status as a market leader. Here's what Snoop Dogg, for example.
My first album, everything was beautiful. I shot a movie. The record did double platinum. We was on tours. We was eating. Everything was beautiful. Second album, No Limit Top Dog. I started double dutching back to LA, calling on my LA producers more, and then going sneaking back, getting a song from this nigga and a song from this nigga, just testing my feet out. The third record, The Last Meal, that's why I call it The Last Meal, because it's the last time motherfuckers was gonna eat off of me. So my mission was to go back to LA on the last album, and by the grace of God, Dr. Dre was working on The Chronic 2001.
Wow.
Dr. Dre had just found a white boy named Eminem. I was on my last album. Dre liked it, the shit I had on my album, and he normally don't like my shit when it ain't his shit. Mm-hmm. And that nigga mixed the whole album, No Limit. I mean, he mixed the whole album, The Last Meal. And me and him got our groove back, and I was like, man, No Limit got my spirit back, but that's the nigga I need to be in the car with. And Master P, at the third album, he was like, you can do what the fuck you want to do. You can go start your own label, do your... And I was like, nigga, you the realest nigga I ever met, cuz. Because anybody else would have been like, nigga, you know I'm finna get 10% override of everything you do from here on out because I put you back in the game. That nigga didn't want nothing from me. Let me get back with Dre. We did the motherfucking Chronic 2001. Eminem album came out. The Eastsiders album came out. We went on the Up and Smoke tour. Everything was back in pocket. It was like, come on, man. You know what that shit felt like when that thing came out.
Had to say about why he left No Limit. No Limit Records and Master P had a significant impact on the music industry, especially in the context of hip-hop and the southern scene, pioneering new approaches to business and music production. First and foremost, the label proved that independent rap artists and labels could achieve commercial success without the support of major music corporations. Master P, as the founder of No Limit, was one of the first to understand the importance of having full control over the production process from recording to distribution. He built a business model where the label handled everything independently, from content creation to product sales, which maximized profits and maintained independence. This realization became an important benchmark for other artists who began to understand that success could be built without major label contracts. Moreover, No Limit and Master P played a key role in spreading and popularizing Southern hip-hop, which in the 90s was not as popular as West Coast and East Coast hip-hop. Master P, being from New Orleans, actively used his background to create a unique sound that combined the rawness of street stories with distinctive musical elements. This approach not only brought success to the label but also helped reshape the music landscape, making Southern hip-hop a crucial part of the culture. No Limit Records influenced what later became the foundation for the success of other Southern artists like Lil Wayne and Young Jeezy. No Limit's influence also extended to the commercialization of hip-hop. The label demonstrated that rap music could be not only an art form, but also a profitable business. Master P built a multi-million-dollar empire that extended far beyond the music industry. No Limit began producing merchandise, launching films, and investing in other areas such as sports agencies and real estate. This became part of the label's image, blending hip-hop with a business mindset, which later inspired other rappers like Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre to develop their own business empires. Additionally, No Limit's impact can be seen through the unique style and visual aesthetics they created. The label became known for its flashy and memorable album covers, which helped artists establish a recognizable image and attract an audience. The visuals of luxury cars, gold chains, and street motifs became symbols of 90s hip-hop culture. These visual elements, combined with aggressive lyrics and beats, created a unique atmosphere that drew in listeners and helped cement No Limit Records' success in the music industry. From 2004 to 2005, the new No Limit Records released new albums by Master P, Silk the Shocker, C-Murder, and Lil Romeo. But they did not achieve significant success. In 2005, Master P founded a new label called Guitar Music Entertainment. On November 26, 2010, No Limit was re-established as No Limit Forever Records.
What a hell of a life! spend a couple mil on my crib.
Master P is still involved in music and business today, giving numerous interviews where he shares interesting stories about his life.
I also was on tour with Tupac. So I'm on stage when the lights on. Nobody coming to see me, they're waiting for Tupac. And I see one guy, I'm singing my song, Body Body, one guy jumping up, I don't know if he drunk or what. This guy jamming. I said, I walk off the stage, 30,000 people, and walk to this guy and give him a No Limit t-shirt. I said, you like that? He said, man, I love it. So my brother's standing next to me. He said, man, why you so happy? I said, I got one. He said, got one of what? I said, a fan. I said, I'm going to turn that into millions. He said, yeah, right. I turned that, we sold over 100 million records independently.
Well, No Limit is no longer a major label in the music industry today, but it will forever remain in the hearts and memories of hip-hop fans. What do you think about this label and Master P? Write your opinion in the comments, leave likes, and subscribe to the channel. See you all later.